Next up on stage is Nathalie and Karen from North Sea Port.
Good morning, everybody. Today, my colleague Karen and I are going to talk to you about what sustainability means in a port area. Where are we located? Because North Sea Port, I don't think a lot of you know exactly where we are. It's a very large area, a cross-border port. As you can see, we have three major areas. You have Vlissingen and Terneuzen within the Netherlands. And then you have Ghent that is based in Flanders, Belgium. Now, here you have all sorts of numbers that people usually want to see when they talk to ports or about ports. But what we changed and what our transition is all about is actually the fact that we want to focus on high added value. So we don't talk about tons or containers anymore, but we really want to make sure that we have sustainable companies and sustainable activities within the port. And that's a big change because, as you know, lots of commodities that go on in the port are about oil and about coal. So that's a major change actually in the strategy. So as North Sea Port, we are quite ambitious. So we set up a strategic plan that is called Connect 2025. Crucial, of course, I think for most organizations is the customer focus. But then again, we defined 3 core activities, 8 programs, and 7 cluster sectors we want to work in. Now, core activities for a port, that's actually the first one, of course, is where we act as a landlord. That's an important one. And we provide infrastructure. That's also one of the major activities. The second one is nautical service. We have to make sure that everything happens in a safe and smooth way. But the third one, and that's actually where everything changed since 2020, is about connection. So we want to map companies within the area. We want to map them not only about what they do, but also residual waste, how can we connect them. So it's actually the third core activity is that connector role. I think that's a major change in what is happening within ports. I think it's interesting too because we have, you saw that on the previous slide, 550 companies, and that's still manageable. So it's good to be able to map companies and see where we can link them all. The programs and the sector we're going to talk about later on. Karen?
Before we dive into the 8 programs, I will tell you something more about what's been going on in North Sea Port since years on biorefinery and biofuels. Since 2005, we promote our bio-based valley. And the bio-based valley is the largest integrated production site for biorefinery in Europe. The bio-based valley consists of several companies, and they work closely together in the bio-based production. So on the one hand, we have the companies, and there we have Cogghe, Alco Biofuel. We have terminals like EVOS, but also Eurosilo. The Bio is the last one I forgot. I nearly forgot. So they work really closely together. And on the other hand, we also have the Bio-based Europe pilot plant, which is a multi-purpose pilot plant for pilot and demo scale. They really help on promoting bio-based production and bio-based products within the port. The people of the Bio-based Europe pilot plant are also present here on the conference, so you can meet them later on. What's also important is this bio-based valley is still growing. So last year we opened 2 new plants. We have the steel and oil production, which is close to ArcelorMittal, and it makes use of the blast furnace of gas, and we have a gas fermentation on this gas, so to produce bioethanol. And we also opened the waste-based biodiesel plant closely to Cogghe, and it's also exploited by Cogghe, where used oils are used to produce biofuels, biodiesel. So I think we can go to the programs then, Nathalie.
So if we have a look at the programs, I will not mention them all, but you will see that 3 of them are actually climate-oriented. So I think that says a lot about the ambitions and the things we want to do. And important here is also the 4th one, that is the connector role in this. Now, slide is... It's not boven. Ah, okay. Oh, no. Yeah, sorry for that. Now, of course, everybody knows the ambition within Europe to become climate neutral. The circular economy plays a major role in that. So we all have to transform from the old processes. And like I mentioned, like we kind of had a head start because you know that all the oil and coal production, etc. Well, they're actually fading out, so that's a good thing for us. So for the ambition of 2025, North Seaport had the plan to attract 10 innovative circular activities. I might say, Karen, that we're almost there. So I think that's also a sign that the economy and the activities is growing so fast. I know that Port of Amsterdam is going to talk later on, so I think they will say that too. So we actually even have the chance to evaluate all the companies and the activities to really see that we have the perfect fit within the port. So I think that's a major evolution. We prefer to have the new projects based within the 7 sectors that are here on the slides. And so we always look for connections and for the synergies that can happen. I might add to that even now everybody is focusing on circular economy and innovation, but for years and years already the paper production site, Storenzo, that is based within the Ghent area, has been cooperating with the Volvo Cars factory actually. So they have excess heat, and via a 4 kilometers pipeline they provide Volvo Cars, well, they have the heating within Volvo Cars from the Stora Enso factory, actually. So that's a major CO2 reduction. And a good example, I think, of what is happening. So, but Karen, you're going to give some more examples.
So Nathalie told you about the cluster area that we have defined within North Seaport for circular projects. And here you can see some of the spaces that are defined there. So we have 6 main cluster areas, and we aim to actively seek the companies who fit in. So this means that they have to match with the existing company or add value to companies that are already there or match with each other. From the north, you see Vlissingen. There we have Termfos FMT terrain, as we call it. We have a lot of green hydrogen production there, but also some bio-LNG projects. We also have a joint venture of Ravago and Neste, where there will be a chemical recycling plant in the near future. And the recycling oil, the oil that is produced during the chemical recycling will be cracked then into the refineries of Neste. More to the south, you can see Value Park. Value Park is closely to Dow Chemicals. It's in Terneuzen. And there, Dow, or the transition of Dow Chemicals, is really the driver for the new processes on Value Park. So there we look at specifically at fermentation projects, but also on chemical recycling. And a good example there is Alta Carbon, which is a carbon capture and utilization project, which uses CO2 from Dow to produce carbonates, which can be used in batteries later on. So more to the south, we have Axelse Vlakte. There we have an example like a sustainable fuel plant, where agricultural residual flows from agriculture are used to produce biogas. More to the south, we have Rodenhuizen Ghent, where we have the steel production of ArcelorMittal nearby. And there we know that the steel production has to go through a major climate transition. So all the companies there on this plant and this site will be oriented to help ArcelorMittal on this climate challenge. Last one there is Kluizendok in near Ghent. There we focus also on chemical recycling and bio-LNG production. We had one film about Zeeland Refinery and the challenges they have, but I think we have to skip that. No? Okay.
We're ahead of time, so.
Okay. So, Zeeland Refinery, we have a little film there, and they will tell you about the challenge they have and the parties they seek to help them with that. So, I hope this starts. Yeah.
Wij zijn hier bij Zeeland Refinery. Wij zijn een raffinaderij die helemaal in het begin van de lineaire waardeketen, vandaag uit fossiele grondstoffen, allerhande brandstofmoleculen en moleculen voor de chemische basisindustrie maakt. De grote stap die we kunnen maken is de brandstoffen die in de toekomst nog altijd nodig zullen zijn. En we denken dan aan brandstoffen voor de luchtvaart. Dat wij perfect gepositioneerd zijn om die producten in de toekomst op de markt te kunnen zetten. In het bestaande raffinaderijproces is onze hydrocracker van strategisch belang, die ook in de toekomst de nieuwe moleculen zal kunnen verwerken en sustainable aviation fuel zal kunnen produceren. In het kader van de verduurzaming verduurzamen we op dit moment onze waterstofproductie. Niet alleen middels de afvang van CO2 op de bestaande waterstoffabrieken, maar ook de productie van waterstof door middel van elektrolyse. Deze twee projecten vormen daarmee de stepstone naar de andere projecten die later in de toekomst zullen uitgerold worden om onze nieuwe producten op de markt te zetten. In deze tijden van zeer snelle transitie is het meer dan ooit van belang dat de wet en regelgeving en de technologische ontwikkelingen dat die hand in hand met elkaar gaan. Zeeland Refinery staat helemaal open om dus nieuwe bedrijven die hier zich nog moeten vestigen of bedrijven die zich hier al gevestigd hebben, om samen synergieën te zoeken en manieren van samenwerkingen uit te bouwen. Daar waar Zeeland Refinery vandaag een rol speelt in de lineaire waardeketen, zal Zeeland Refinery in de toekomst ook zijn rol opeisen in het circulaire model. En in het circulaire model is net die samenwerking met andere spelers in de regio, maar ook nationaal, is van primordiaal belang. En daar komen dan ook de relaties met North Seaport en Smart Delta Resources naar boven.
So here you can see that even a company that is really into the traditional oil and gas sector also has a lot of ambitions to go through this circular transition. The last slide is about one of our most important projects in North Seaport. It's the North Sea Circular Area. This is, I told you before, this is close to ArcelorMittal, the large steel production site in North Seaport, and there they have the ambition, together with North Seaport, to be climate neutral by 2050. So they have a specific site there, and there they want to attract a lot of activities that can help them reducing carbon, but also using alternative feedstocks into the steel production site. So ambitions are big, I think, mainly for the new sites. And the existing companies are an important driver for the new activities within North Seaport. Nathalie.
Well, actually, just to conclude, our baseline is together smarter within North Seaport, but also beyond North Seaport. So I welcome you all to come and see us later on and discuss how we can connect. Thank you.